Any regret when you're walking around up there in Vermont that, you know what, in truth, these are legitimate issues. I should have gone after Clinton more for the legitimate issues about whether it's email or judgment about these different scandals that keep seeming to come up?
No, and that one I really don't think twice about, because I think there is a profound disgust in this country for the kind of politics that says, you know, hey, I'm great. Chris Cuomo is terrible and awful. He's a miserable human being. Vote for me.
Now, all the burners are going to come after me all day long, and they're going to play that as like a GIF. I hope you're happy.
But, you know, I don't think people want to hear that anymore. What they really want to hear, what I am proud of, they want, you know, you've heard me rant and rave about media. And the need for us not to be talking about how terrible somebody else is. Why is the middle class in America disappearing?
But when you look at Trump and you see that his success is almost purely a function of the kinds of tactics I'm saying that you avoided.
Right.
It doesn't make you think, well, maybe that's what you needed to do in this campaign to get into a position of power.
I mean, you think I should have been sending out tweets attacking Hillary Clinton personally, and then CNN would have said, Bernie Sanders said today, Hillary Clinton is blah, 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 blah. You know, if that's what it takes to win, I don't need that. What I want to talk about is the real issues, why the middle class is disappearing, income and wealth inequality, the need to have health care for all people, the need to have public colleges, universities, tuition-free, the need to deal with poverty. Do you hear many people talking about that, Chris?
No.
All right. I think we should. 47 million people living in poverty, highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country on earth. So my campaign is not, never will be based on terrible personal attacks against somebody else. That's not who I am. It's not what I believe in.
Do you think that it will be important for you at some point to shore up the confidence that Clinton won the nomination fair and square? The idea of a rigged system. I get your concerns about the laws, and I don't think they're far-fetched. But the system is what it is, and there is an undercurrent on the Democratic side that, man, Bernie was boxed out here. You know, this was unfair. That doesn't help your nominee.
Right. No, I think the system has many, many flaws, but we knew what we were getting into. You and I just chatted. In New York State, for example, 3 million people who are not registered as Democrats or Republicans.
It's a closed primary.
It's a closed primary. I think that is absurd. I think the whole superdelegate situation that we have right now is absurd. Did I know those rules and laws when I got into it? Sure, I did. So I'm not saying that they changed the rules. No, they didn't.
Brexit.
Yeah.
Donald Trump happens to be in Scotland. He says, take a look here. It's about to happen back home in the United States as well. Now, look, I know there's a lot of complexity and there's a lot of distinguishing and contrasting features from the European Union to what we're dealing with in the United States. But the fact that people are angry, they want to take it into their hands, they want their country back, and a lot of it is about they don't like who's coming into their country, immigration. Do you think there are parallels?
Well, by the way, if Donald Trump is in Scotland right now, he might want to take a look at their healthcare system, which is a very good one in Scotland, which it's a national healthcare system. Which guarantees health care to all people as a right. So maybe you might want to take a look at that, rather than throwing millions of people off of health care as he wants to do. I think the issue of Brexit is an interesting one. If you look at the history of Europe in the 20th century, where you see an unbelievable amount of bloodshed, World War I, World War II, and you had people coming together and say, we got to overcome this. We have to have cooperation. We have to bring countries closer together. And that's a wonderful goal, which I certainly support. On the other hand, in terms of the global economy in Europe and in the United States, while it's great for CEOs to be running to China and making investments in China, they're forgetting about the millions of workers who lost their jobs. Middle class in this country disappearing, poverty, 47 million people. We cannot ignore the reality of so many people in this country who have been hurt by the global economy.
If what happens here is what happened there, that does seem to suggest that Donald Trump would win.
Donald Trump is not going to win. And he's not going to win because the American people will not elect somebody who is a bigot. And I would hope that Secretary Clinton begins to understand that she has got to stand up and take on the big money interests, whose greed is doing so much harm to our country, and make it clear to those low-income people, those working people, that she is on their side.
How does Clinton, now I'm going to put you in a role that you've been reluctant to accept to this point, which is being the main Clinton surrogate. How does she beat Trump on big money when you look at her donor list and they're all the big banks and big law firms? When you look at the money that goes into the Clinton Global Initiative, there's a lot of big, bad countries that are represented there. Timing questions aside about when they gave the money. Trump, self-funded, says, I don't need their money, I don't want it. Almost Bernie-esque in terms of how he deals with big
Chris,
money.
I'll tell you what, when Hillary is here, You ask.
No, no,
Oh,
no,
no. I'm not
Hold on. You said you're going to do everything you can to keep Donald Trump from being president. Right.
To defeat Trump.
Well, this is a main argument.
You're right, and it's it's an argument that will resonate with some people, and that's one of the problems. What I am trying to do right now with the Democratic Party is say you got a choice to make. You want money from Wall Street, you want money from corporate America, that's fine, but you're not going to be the party of working people. You got to, there's an old folk song.
They say the rules. Well, tell me the song first.
Which side are you on? You remember that? You
Yes,
probably know that song. And I think the Democratic Party has got to make it clear it is on the side of working people.
But they say the rules are what they are. You need money. They say this will be $1 billion election. Trump gets all this media time because he says these outrageous and provocative things that get people going.
Yeah.
The media, that resonates with media as well. We need to combat that with ads. That takes money. Don't handcuff me, Bernie. That's what they're going to say.
I mean, I think if there's anything that we proved, Chris, in our campaign, is that's not quite accurate. What we ended up receiving is 8 million individual campaign contributions averaging $27 from 2.5 million people, many of them, by the way, working people and low-income people. Blew me away, the kind of support we received. So I think if you are prepared to say to people, I am on your side, I need $50, you know what? Those people will make that contribution.
Do you have confidence that you can make the case to the burners, those who feel the burn, that the Democratic Party is the choice for them?
That is a good question. That is, and that's
the only kind I ask, Senator. The question
not always, Chris.
Oh,
don't flatter yourself here too much.
Somebody has to.
That is the question we're asking the Democratic Party right now. We're getting two responses. I can tell you that in some states that we've been in, the local leadership has been great. They have welcomed people in. They've been fair. And in other places, they have said, hey, we really don't want the unwashed to come in. We don't want the young people. They're too loud. They're too aggressive. We don't want working people. And look, we got a good situation here. That is the debate of the moment. Will the Democratic Party open itself up to young people and working people and become a party of the middle class and working class? Or will it continue to spend its time raising money from the wealthy and large corporations?
Help us pull the curtain back. Who is they? You know how sometimes in conversations, well, they say they're giving us a hard time. Yes. They have to make. Who's they? Who should we be talking to about how they're going to come out on these decisions?
I think the chair of the Democratic Party, Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
How are those conversations going?
Not well. I think, I think she is not the kind of leadership that the Democratic Party needs to welcome new people into the party.
So how do you get it done, what you're trying to get done, if you do not have the relationship you need to have with the person who makes a lot of the decisions? Do you want the Clinton campaign to override, and should you be going to them directly more?
Well, we are talking to the Clinton campaign, but the bottom line is the focus of what we are trying to do now is go to the grassroots. Right now, I'll be in Syracuse tonight supporting a progressive candidate running, Eric Kingston, who's running for the U.S. Congress. And I'll be doing that all over the country. And you know what? I'm going to go to states where somebody is running for state legislature who is a progressive. We're going to try to get people involved in the political process from school board on up to the United States Congress.
How confident are you that Hillary Clinton can beat Donald Trump?
I think everything being equal, she should be able to beat him because he is a very, very flawed candidate. And I think the American people, again, understand that you can't elect somebody to be president who does not even believe in the reality of climate change, who bases his campaign on bigotry, who wants to give hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks to the top 0.2% of 1%.